Lithium Americas is a Nevada-based lithium company focused on lithium extraction. Their flagship project, Thacker Pass, in the same state, will be completed in 2027. I'm joined now by Jonathan Evans. He's the president and CEO of Lithium Americas. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate having me here.
So why lithium?
To see how important it is, how much it's grown over the last 10 years. I mean, this is an industry that's growing at 15% annual growth rates, and it's ubiquitous. Everyone thinks about mobility applications, electric vehicles, but we're sitting in this building here. This interview is powered by lithium batteries. Every universal power supply for a data center has a lithium battery in it. Missiles on ships, drones and on war fields. It's everywhere, and it continues to grow as we're a very power-hungry society. Even for the grid itself, a large-scale grid storage to stabilize our grids, and even connect it to renewable energy to store either the sun or the wind and use it at different times. So it's super important. It's a critical mineral. It's been on the U.S. Government and actually the European government, Canadian government, Australian government, Japanese government. It's been recognized as something very important, and now in the world we're in, very strategic as well.
Thacker Pass started in 2007. Can you take me through that project, the evolution of it, and what is going on at Thacker Pass?
Yes, it's been a long journey. It was started under a different company. In fact, the deposit, which is the largest known lithium deposit in the world, was actually discovered by Chevron looking for uranium. They didn't find a lot of uranium, but they found a lot of lithium. But back in the early 70s, that wasn't very important. In 2007, a company started to advance it. We took the asset over in 2016, did a lot more work on the geology, found that it was very unique, very, very cost effective, very, very environmentally friendly as well, and have worked now to basically build the whole team out, finance the project fully. We're fully financed, and start construction about a year and a half ago. We are in full construction deployed at this point. We've got about 500 crafts on site. Excavation has been done. We're pouring concrete, all aimed at opening this facility up in late 2027. It'll be the largest integrated lithium operation in North America, and it'll supply a portion of what the U.S. needs. Not nearly enough, but the largest domestic supply of fully processed lithium that we'll have as Americans.
And who are your primary partners and customers?
So our key partner is General Motors. General Motors is the joint venture partner, but also they're our largest single shareholder in the company. GM has invested cash and cash equivalents, about $950 million. It's actually obviously key to their business for their own integrated battery operations and partnerships that they have with companies like LG and Samsung. Another backer from a financing standpoint is the U.S. government, via the Department of Energy. Loans for critical minerals, ours being a large one. That's another piece of the capital stack. And then we have an investor called Orion, and Orion's private equity type firm that specializes investing in not only critical minerals, but also precious metals like gold and silver.
What are some future milestones that we should look for?
All execution now. We're fully permitted. We have no legal issues, which most projects, even infrastructure projects in this country, run into, and it slows things down. That was a long, arduous process for us. That was 3 to 4 years in permitting. The milestones now are really execution in terms of construction. So we put our first steel up last week. We've got all of our critical equipment coming in from vendors around the U.S. and some locations around the world. And it's really milestones matched with labor. So we'll at about 500 right now. We'll peak at about 2,000 workers end of next year and into 2027, and then we'll quickly ramp down. And I'll add, actually, we're in a fairly rural area of northern Nevada, so we provide room and board for all of our workforce, because you've got people that are coming in some cases from the East Coast, because we require skilled labor, welders, pipe fitters, and so forth. So to help them out, because we're in a smaller community, we offer free room and board as part of their 3 weeks on, 1 week off.
So the project has simulated the economy in northern Nevada.
Yes, it will. It already has in terms of the influx of workers coming in. But once we get up and running, if you look at what the benefit is from a tax standpoint, both federal tax, state, county taxes, I mean, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
And you're looking at 2027?
To start the plant up. We'll ramp up over the course of 2028. And by the end of 2028, we'll be running it at full rates.
And where do you see lithium extraction going in the next 5 to 10 years?
There's a lot of looking around now in the U.S., just given the run up we had in rare earths, we had in lithium, and both are quite volatile because they're relatively small compared to something like copper or iron ore, which they're too small to be exchange traded. So Nevada, we have the largest known sedimentary-based asset. There's a lot of work going on in the regions of Arkansas and Texas for lithium development, Canada for hard rock. Traditionally, outside of China, it's been Australia. Australia essentially ships everything, the raw material that they have, it's not processed, to China. And in South America, Chile and Argentina. So it's fairly limited, but you're seeing now every region of the world looking for this material. I think the Ukraine just is offering a tender now for a lithium deposit because Europe needs a close inshore source of it, because right now their import there is either from, usually in China, already embedded into batteries or cathodes, or coming from as far away as places like Chile.
And if you're working with a customer or a partner, can you give me a typical use case? What would be a need that someone would have that you can fulfill?
So our material is the ingredient in the battery that makes it work, a rechargeable battery. What you have is if electrons flowing through the circuit and you have ions going from one pole of the battery to the other. So without it, I always like to call it the blood inside the battery. So it's critical. Our lithium refined materials are embedded into cathodes. Any type of battery that you can think that's lithium chemistry based, and there's many of them depending upon the application. Your phone has a lithium battery in it, will have certain performance characteristics it needs, mainly purity. You can't have any trace metals in there. Obviously, it'll short the battery out. And then even from an environmental standpoint, like exposures in Europe, there's restrictions on things like arsenic and others that are important. And those are all things that we work with customers on, mainly GM and their universe of supply chain that they work with, to ensure that whatever material we are providing is going to meet or exceed the application.
Is there a strong regulatory environment around lithium extraction and production?
In the US, absolutely. We have some of the hardest permitting rules in the country. They also take the longest. I think that's one of the areas that I know this administration is working on, is permit reform in this country. And it's more than just for companies like ours that are building a chemical plant and operating a mining operation. All those rules apply on federal land to anything, and even on private land when it comes to things like building high tension lines, building a road, a lot of the same permitting regulations, where I think we've all heard horror stories. It takes sometimes a decade for a project to get going. Even if on the surface it looks like it's beneficial for most, it gets stuck in litigation and we don't get anything done in this country. So we in this industry faces the same challenges as anything somebody wants to build a large scale infrastructure project in this country. Now, even data centers, people don't want them in their backyard for whatever reason.
With the rise of AI, have you seen an increased need for lithium for these data centers?
We have. That's actually one of the fastest growing parts of the sector. Everybody thinks mobility. In New York, you're seeing e-bikes and electric vehicles, e-buses. But the fastest growing sector is backup power supplies. So they're called like UPSs. So every data center, and there's many that are growing, of course, due to AI applications, is a lithium ion battery for that data center to make sure there's uninterrupted power in case there's a spike in power or a blip. That industry alone in the US is over $2 billion today. And of course, it's growing at rates that are, I think the CAGRs are close to 20%. So the base is smaller than mobility applications, but it's actually growing faster. And then with that and connected to it is the grid itself, where power stability is very important. So you're seeing power companies put these large banks of batteries to store power in case there's an interruption in power supply.
All right, Jonathan Evans, President and CEO of Lithium Americas, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you.